saludarlos, darles la bienvenida a un programa más. Estar aquí con ustedes es una bendición y poder compartir cosas que nos ayuden a vivir mejor, más. Y yo que ando de exploradora por el mundo, pues me encuentro con personas increíbles. Y bueno, pues nos acompaña doctor Pepetón. ¿De dónde? Angélica, díganme de dónde se están uniendo a este programa maravilloso que vamos a tener el día de hoy con el mismísimo Superman. Y van a decir, ay, sí, pues así me vestí bien elegante. Pues, ¿cómo ven que sí? Sí le dicen a nuestro invitado de hoy, Superman. Es un ser humano que ha trabajado mucho en él, pero que gracias al trabajo que ha hecho en él desde chico, porque además fue un deportista profesional, fue un nadador profesional durante muchos años, y eso te da un montón de disciplina, y disciplina, acuérdense, es igual a libertad. Pero hoy no vamos a hablar de disciplina, hoy no vamos a hablar de libertad, hoy vamos a hablar de biohacking, de qué es lo que tú puedes hacer con tu cuerpo, con tu mente para sentirte muchísimo mejor. Dave, miren, de la ciudad de México, mi super hermana, love you sis, desde Destin, Florida. Qué bueno que se están uniendo a este programa. Inviten a muchas personas a escuchar a nuestro invitado del día de hoy. La entrevista va a ser en inglés porque Dr. Mike no habla español, pero está aprendiendo, como muchos de nuestros biohackers que pues se han dado cuenta de que hay muchas personas de habla hispana que claro que quieren ser biohackers de su propio cuerpo, porque quieren vivir más años, sentirse mejor, lucir mejor, superar enfermedades, retos personales, o sea, estar mentalmente y físicamente mejor. Así que, dicho esto, a que descubras tu superpoder, el día de hoy nos acompaña el doctor Mike Van Thielen. Mike, conocido como Superman, which we have right here, es un hombre que fue un pionero en el mundo del biohacking, de las primeras personas que empezaron a biohack. Además de eso, tiene un doctorado muy interesante, en nutrición holística. Pero además de esto, pues como les decía, él fue un deportista de alto rendimiento, pero además es coach y ha sido coach de sinfín de celebridades, además de deportistas muy famosos, muy conocidos, porque él reúne una serie de técnicas que ayudan a los seres humanos, a las personas, a convertirse en esa mejor versión que pueden ser, que es su superhéroe personal. And now, saying that, I want to say hi, Dr. Mike. Hi, Superman. How are you doing?
I'm great, Dr. Lizi. How are you today?
I am so happy to be here with you. And you've got that Florida look still stuck to you in the breaker. Doing good, doctor.
Right. Can't complain when we're in Florida.
I know. I would wish to be there very soon when this gets colder. But you know what? The people in Mexico are very happy to start learning about such interesting science and technology and people into it in other countries. And that's how we met, because Dr. Fab organizes super cute event in the Breakers, and you were the speaker there. And I was quite impressed by your very short but brilliant speech. And you know what? That when we do what we do, we become a little bit critical, that's the truth, and how other people project it's true, like you do it, you know, like if you're an actor and you see somebody doing like a lousy acting job like that, shut up, and you'll see it. And you know what? I'm a speaker, so I know I can distinguish a good speaker, and you are really good. So we're really happy to have you in the Spanish-speaking community with my friends all around the world that will tell us where they will be starting to join our talk. So Dr. Mike, tell us why we're here today.
Well, because like you said, we met in West Palm Beach, Florida. It was a great event, great people. And yes, I talked about unleashing superpowers because I feel we're all unique individuals. We all have our superpowers. The world, especially today, needs our superpowers. But unfortunately, many of us don't know what their superpower is. They've not been thinking about it. And then another part, or another, fair amount of us know what our superpower is, but we're barely tapping into it. And it's only a very, very small percentage of us that have unleashed their superpower. So my goal today and tomorrow and the next day is to help people identify their passions and their superpowers and not just step into it, but unleash it.
Okay, so the first question is, the one is this comment that I was amazed when I saw your talk, because my seminar, my 2-day seminar that I give to leaders is called Discover Your Superhero. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting that people in different parts of the world, we join to help people discover who they really are. Because sometimes we don't know who we are because we keep on telling ourselves stories about what they told us we were or we should be. And we just don't make a pause and say, I mean, that's your story. Thank you. I'm giving it back to you. And I'm taking mine. But then when they suddenly do that, if they do it, because many people just don't. But whenever you do it, the first question is, do I have a superpower? I'm not a superhero. Everybody has a superpower and we use it all our life. The only problem is that we don't name it and we don't own it. And words have energy. So when you own your superpower, that's how you unleash it. But when people come to you, because I know you give seminars all around the world and you coach so many people, they come to you first because they would really want to know what their superpower is, or we're here in this part where we know it, we've used it unconsciously, it's opened all our doors, but they come to you to help you enhance it, to help them use it in full potential.
Yeah, well, we have all kinds of people that come to me, but even if people think they are living a life of purpose or they find their superpower, I want to make sure they're correct, because as you know, the moment we're born, we're pushed in a certain direction. We have to go to school, then we go to college, then we're supposed to work for somebody till we're 65, and then there's the golden years, which usually don't happen. Or our parents or teachers push us in a certain direction. If dad's a lawyer, he probably wants you to go to law school. If mom's a doctor, they probably want you to go to med school. So like you just said, Dr. Lizi, sometimes we need to just put the brakes on and stop and say, what is it that I want? What is my passion? What brings fire in my stomach? What do I get excited about? So many times I have to ask my mentees some questions and making sure they're living their purpose. And a good way to find out if you're living your purpose is simply asking yourself tomorrow morning, right? Ask yourself when you wake up, just before you get out of bed, ask yourself, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, I have to get up, I have to get to work, I have to do this, I have to do that? Or are you thinking, I get to get up, I get to get to work, I get to do this, I get to do that? And unfortunately, most people, it's that first one, which means is you're not living your passion, you're not passionate about what you do. You may be good at what you do. You may be a great brain surgeon, but maybe your passion is music, or maybe it's, flying an F-16, I don't know. But what I really do first is confirm your purpose and your passion. And if you don't know what it is, I do many exercises and ask questions. So usually in one session or maximum a week, we really identify what that is. And then many times, of course, we need to make a transition, because you can't just drop your job. We all have responsibilities. We have families. We have bills to pay. we have a job, we have things that we're good at, but then we have to free up some time, 1 hour a day, to start working on that dream and that passion, and then slowly transition into it. So that's step number one, is identifying something that gives you passion and purpose. So that's step number one.
I love it. And I was thinking, you know, I'm going to be like the little devil here. That's what that woman usually does. No, but I'm thinking, you know what? These guys, they're really cool. Dr. Lizi, Dr. Mike, they're super cool, and they're helping the world. And the people in the world find their superpower. Like, why don't they wake up and they understand that we've been the last 3 years of our lives surviving instead of thriving. And you know what? I don't give a shit about the superpower, because what I need is like get food to my house, or maybe I'm still dwelling on everything I lost. Maybe some people like me would say, whew, after the year and a half of long COVID and then a relapse that became, as you know, all these many stomach horrors, and how biohacking helped me, and how Dr. Patrick Porter, and how the Key Coil with David Wong and Dr. Fat Mancini, and all these amazing people that are doing amazing things like you. But I lost my sense of purpose too. And I think many people can lose it because they're sick, or because they feel super lost or sad. Yeah. So I would say, how can you help a person that lost?
Yeah, there's a few things there, right? Number one, we need to realize that we're humans and our brain is very basic. So we always hear people talk about the comfort zone. And it's a real thing, because we're all in our comfort zone. And in our comfort zone, we're safe and we're content. But we're not necessarily happy, and we're not necessarily finding fulfillment. But we're safe, we're paying the bills, we're bringing money home to buy food and those types of things. But that's the key, because if we want to step out of our comfort zone, our brain's going to say, no, 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 don't do it, because we don't know what's there. There's change, there's uncertainty, and there's a fear to leave the comfort zone. So our own brain tells us, do not do it. So what's important, what I do with my mentees, I educate them about what the comfort zone is. And if you leave it, yes, you get into a fear zone, then you get into a learning zone, and then you get into the growth zone. And as long as they know what to expect, it's going to be a little bit easier, especially if they have a coach or a mentor with them. And then one of the most important things that I do to prepare them is let them know that once they're going to inform their loved ones that they're not going to be a brain surgeon anymore, but they want to go play music, then they're going to get a reaction. And the reaction is they're going to say that you're crazy, and that you know, what's wrong with you, and you're silly, and what are you thinking, and you're going to fail anyways. You're not going to be Slash in 3 years, etc., etc. But I prepare my mentees that they are going to exactly that response for their loved ones. And if they know they're going to respond, then we can prepare how to respond to that. So we're going to be proactive, and we're going to understand that your loved ones are not consciously not supporting you. Of course they want the best for you, or of course they want to support you, but their reaction is negative, and their reaction is you're crazy, because you are part of their comfort zone. So they don't want you to leave their comfort zone. They're a little bit unconsciously selfish at that point, right? So it's all about learning about the comfort zone, knowing what to expect, and knowing what other people are going to say, so you cannot get into an argument, but proactively respond and make them part of your support team. That's number one. Number two, you talked about it, it's mindset. Because as we get older, we all have experiences, and we all have experiences that didn't turn out the way we wanted to. I don't like to call them failures. I like to call them learning stones, stepping stones, because that's how we need to look at them. And so most people, they're driven by their past. And so they always think they can't do it based on past experiences, we need to change that mindset. We need to change that belief system. And that's why once we have our purpose, we got to make a plan. We got to set goals. We got to surround ourselves with the right people. And we need to break those goals and dreams down in smaller incremental steps that we can attain on a daily basis that give us fulfillment. So that's the plan. And once we have that vision and we know our strategy and our plan and we have the help that we need, then those obstacles only become opportunities and stepping stones towards that. So it's the mindset. We really got to work on the belief system and eliminating those false core beliefs. And there's many things that we can do, as you know: visualization, manifestation, breath work, the brain tap with Dr. Porter, many things that can help us, being pulled forward by our future and our dreams versus being held back by our past. Because if we have any doubt in our mind that we're going to be successful and realize our dreams, then the universe has two options: failure or success. If you have no doubt in your mind that you're going to, realize your dreams and be successful or overcome a disease or whatever it is, guess what? If you have no doubt, the universe only has one option: a big win. So the mindset and working with a good coach is crucial to your success, because your mind not only controls your body and your physiology, but also is the blueprint to your failure or success. So the mind is key, and then getting out of that comfort zone with that right mindset is key, because when we step out of the comfort zone, that's where we often find our purpose. That's where we discover ourselves, and that's where we grow, and that's where we can become extraordinary and unleash those superpowers.
Wow.
That was a mouthful, yeah.
No, I think it's super cool, because many people say, how do I do it? And what you do as the coach you are of many people is help them find a way, because usually what people do is, as you correctly said, live in past stories, even in past pains that sometimes even get stuck in your body, because you get so mad that 3 years later your knee hurts, right? Yeah. And it's because it's important. It's important to work on the mindset. And you just talked about a few techniques that are very important. And you are a hacker, and I'm sure that as a hacker, one of your main goals is get people where they want to be, the sooner, the better, the faster. Yeah. And that's why I am starting to biohack, because now we can help people meditate much faster or enter states that their brain is going to help them with the mindset, like brain tap, or even the movement of energy, because we are energy with the key calm, or light wave, that's something with phototherapy. It's not just popping pills, but a little bit of the question I had is, there's this movie that I like a lot, and it's called Stutz, S-T-U-T-Z. And it's about a therapist with a patient, and the patient is a very famous actor. And it's a story that this actor makes the movie about his therapist, which is so cool. And he's an 80-something-year-old man that has Parkinson's. And what he says and tells patients, because many people that are with us today, and I know it because it's a big community in Mexico, and this is going to stay, and it's going to go to many places. People haven't been feeling very well. Like the pandemia was like a Pandora box, and many things that were over there started popping. And since I'm a doctor in psychology and I work with so many people and I see them in the seminars too, they're overwhelmed. Many people feel overwhelmed, and it's their present. It's not exactly their past, it's their present. Maslow would say that you have to have something in your mouth first, like fed, and before you can thrive for something more. I'm sure that the people that are with us are blessed as much as you and me that we have that. So we have no excuse. We have the basics in the Maslow pyramid. It's just a matter of deciding to living in a more conscious way. And then when that happens, it happened to me out of a lot of physical pain. To other people, it comes as a blessing and a light. And to others, it comes as the continuum of experiences, as you say, not failures. But talking about this mindset and talking about how important it is to help the people reach their goals faster, Stutz would tell his depressed patients that couldn't even get out of bed, the first thing you have to do is recover your body. You recover your health. That you gotta recover your health. You gotta stand up and you gotta take a shower. You have to drink this. You have to do this. That's everything you have to do. When you have that accomplished, the next. And I was thinking, since you're a biohacker and I love to learn about biohacking, how do you help your clients with all the experience that you have in the part of nutrition and a very interesting doctorate degree, which is a healthier type of nutrition, but also as well as somebody that has also lived many experiences in life. And as a
great question.
What would you tell people to do to kick off fast?
When it comes to health, I categorize people in three categories. The first category is people that need to regain control of their health. So they're either in pain, they're overweight, or they are diagnosed with some kind of a medical condition, diabetes, Parkinson's, you name it. So we need to get them back to quote unquote normal. The second category is once we're back to normal, we need to optimize our health. We need to incorporate and implement lifestyle modifications so that we can be fit and vital and strong in control of our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And only then, in step number 3, only then is optimal health the ideal foundation to maximize the benefits of biohacking. So based on where they are, we need to guide them through those 3 stages until we can start biohacking. Now, biohacking has many different definitions. My definition when it comes to health is objectively reversing our biological age. It's upgrading the body, the mind, and life, right? So what that means is that I believe that today, not just the elite, but the average person, if they implement the biohacking strategies that are available to them today, and it doesn't have to be the expensive technologies, if they implement the strategies today, they easily can become 100 years old, but being able to do what a 40-year-old does. So imagine being 100 years old, but being able to travel, to go on vacation, to hike, whatever it is that you like to do. I believe 100% that is possible today if we implement those strategies. So in my book, my latest book, which obviously there's Superman again, the IZOT method, Unleash Your Superpower, I talk about the 7 foundational biohacks that doesn't have to cost money, okay? And so those are the foundations that we have to put in place to then get, our age, our biological age lower and lower and lower. So if you like, I'll go over them and give the people some simple tips, yes? All right. So number 1 is water, right? We humans, we are a circulatory system and a lymphatic system. We're a plumbing system. Even our lymphatic system, which obviously is part of our immune system, it needs to move. We cannot incur stagnation, okay? So the first thing to make things move is drink water. Now, I don't know how the quality of water in Mexico City is, but it's really bad in the United States because they add fluoride and other chemicals to it. So you need to make sure you have clean water, purified water, and you drink a lot of it because we want to prevent stagnation, right? In my case, I'm looking at it, I infuse my water even with hydrogen, but that's another topic. So number 1, enough water.
To get in touch because of what I was diagnosed with, David? They found it. The best infectologist in Mexico, I don't know if you say that in English, was Candida.
Okay, yeah.
In the intestine, bad time.
Yeah, so hydrogen would be very helpful there, and obviously some other things. But step number 1, enough water and clean water, right? Because things need to move. Number 2, air. Okay, of course we breathe in air 21% oxygen, but we need fresh air. So you need to spend a lot more time outdoors during lunch, after work, weekends. You gotta go get fresh air, not recirculated air. Now, we all get that air, we all breathing, but most of us do not know how to breathe properly. So you need to start learning how to breathe properly, which is called breath work. Now you can find plenty of YouTube videos, etc. But the best breath source app out there, as you know, Dr. Lizi, is the Breath Source. Download it on your download it. It's gonna be live in Latin America and Mexico this week, I believe. If I'm not there.
No,
but yes,
I don't think
write it down. The
Travis
Breath Source. I'll double check it for you. But
I killed Travis if Travis didn't tell me that he was in Mexico. He was. Yeah, this is the app that they're talking about.
Yes, they're on the right top, the Breath Source. So all the breath masters in the world are on there, including our mutual friend Travis Steffens. He's one of the best, right?
Well, Travis was the one, I believe, created Breath
Yes,
Source.
he's the owner and creator of Breath Source, correct. But he put all the breath masters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Travis is an amazing human being. I believe he's one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. And I'm so proud of him because it's so nice when people think about doing something that obviously is going to benefit many people, but it's also going to benefit you because you made it. But thinking of how many people that are amazing breath masters that don't receive a lot of money are going to also be benefit. But you know what he came to do in Mexico? To get interviews with Spanish-speaking breath masters.
Yeah.
So they have work in the app in Spanish.
Yes.
So I'm just waiting for the app because I'm like the first applauder of everything that these people are doing has to enter the Spanish-speaking world. We need it.
Yeah, and he's doing it right now.
1 billion brains, we need Spanish.
And Travis is doing it right now, so you will have it available in Spanish soon. But here's the reason why. Yes, we get the 21% oxygen, but how are we utilizing it? 99.9% of the people breathe through their mouth. The mouth's there to eat and speak, not to breathe. The nose is there to breathe. We need to breathe in through the nose for 5 counts and then exhale through the nose for 6 counts. Because through the nose, it's much smaller. It goes much deeper into our lungs, into the cells, and it catches nitric oxide right there in our cavity, which is very important for dilation. So if we breathe in through the nose for 5 counts and out for 6 counts, that means, Dr. Lizi, we only breathe about 5.5 times per minute. Right now, when we breathe through the mouth, we breathe between 16 and 22 times. So there's a 300% increase in efficiency when we breathe correctly. What does that mean? Yes, we need oxygen to live, but we also know that oxygen and oxidative stress, meaning rusting, is aging. So if we want to slow down aging, we need to breathe less. And the only way to do it is to breathe correctly through the nose. So it's probably one of the bigger biohacks. So number 1, water. Number 2, oxygen. Learn how to breathe properly.
Show us. Why don't we do a simple breathing exercise that you count for us? And no te preocupes, Paloma de mi vida. Este programa va a subir el lunes a Retos Femeninos y va a tener las traducciones because our friends say, oh, I don't speak Spanish, I don't speak English. And I told them that don't worry, that this show is going to go to post-production for Retos Femeninos and it's going to go up on Monday and everything's going to be translated. Yes. So good. All the people in Spanish can understand, the ones that are learning still English, to enjoy you.
So you want to do a little breath thing?
Yeah, because breathing is so important. I'm going to tell you, actually the first time I realized, the first time I breathed consciously, Travis taught me. Mm-hmm. I had no clue how to breathe. I actually had have no clue how important it is. And
no, the first thing we do when we are born is take a breath, and the last thing we'll do before we die is take a breath, and yet we don't know how to. So we can do this. So let's just teach your listeners and viewers on how to breathe correctly. So what I want you to do is put one hand on your stomach. You can't see mine, but one hand on the stomach. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through the nose for 5 counts. I'll count, and then exhale through the nose for 6 counts. But while we inhale through the nose, the belly expands, the belly pushes out. And when we exhale through the nose, the belly comes back to normal. So we're not going to breathe through the chest. The chest is not going up and down. Place one hand on the belly, another one on the chest. And as we breathe in through the nose, the belly pushes out and goes back in. Okay? So let's do 3 slow breaths. And I'll count. So we're going to breathe in through the nose.
No,
Here we go.
Wait. Let me translate what you just said. Sure. Miren, nos va a contar Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike está hablando de la importancia de la respiración. O sea, ese es el segundo hack más importante si quieres vivir más años, sentirte bien, vivir hasta los 100 años, pero andar en tu moto, andar haciendo lo que se te dé la gana, feliz, contento, viajando, comiendo. Bueno, uno de los hacks, el primero es agua, que tenemos que tomar agua natural, que esa agua tiene que ser pura y limpia, y que mucha agua es muy importante. El segundo hack, la respiración. Y obvio, respiramos todos, pero no sabemos cómo respirar. Entonces, lo que está diciendo Dr. Mike, que le dicen Superman, porque enseña a la gente a que de verdad saques lo más fregón de ti, es que tenemos que aprender a respirar, y que la mejor respiración que puedes hacer para que, bueno, yo lo entiendo de otra manera desde mis conocimientos psicológicos, pero la respiración en realidad hasta calma tu cerebro. O sea, tú puedes transitar por las emociones más difíciles respirándolas, haciendo esa pausa, pero no lo hacemos. Entonces Mike va a hacer un ejercicio con nosotros que nos va a enseñar a respirar. Y lo que dijo es que te pongas una mano en el estómago y la otra mano te la pones en el pecho, ¿ok? Entonces, él dice que la respiración súper correcta para este ejercicio es solo por la nariz, porque eso entonces va a hacer que llegue mucho más que por la boca. Entonces, sin boca, por la nariz, él va a contar, y cuando cuente, tú vas a inhalar por la nariz a 5 conteos del doctor, pero vas a sentir como tu pancita se sale, así como panza de cachorrito. Eso sí quiere decir que lo estás haciendo bien. Y después el conteo va a ser 6 para sacar el aire, y vas a sentir como la panza se mete, ¿vale? Ready, Doc?
All right, we'll do it 3 times. So make sure the belly goes out. Here we go. And in through the nose, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and out through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's good. That's how we should breathe. So it just takes a lot of practice. And if you want to, yeah.
Why not the box breathing? 4, 4, 4, 4.
There's different types of breathing. There's different utilities to breathing. There's different benefits. There are different goals. But this is just how we should breathe regularly during the day. So that's the first thing, is getting used to breathing in through the nose for 5 counts and out through the nose for 6. And then there's many different ways of breathing. That's why it's important to, expose yourself to breath work and get into the different things that we can do with our breath. But this is just how we should breathe normally, right?
And I know I'm being I'm asking too much from you, Dr. Mike, but
we're here.
Give everything to the world. And what about like a simple exercise that you would suggest, the breath work? Like I like Travis in the Breath Source app. He does a 2-minute reset, which is really cool, because in 2 minutes. Well, the benefits of the breath work are many. Maybe that second that you're counting after, it's a combination of substances that change in your body. That's why you start rejuvenating instead of getting older. Can you talk about
so
the importance of the mechanism of the oxygen plus the...
There's many applications of breath work, right? First of all, it's to benefit our biology, physiology. It's to increase a CO2, carbon dioxide tolerance, right? Because then we will live longer. And so that's the true biohacking. But we can also use breath work, like you said so eloquently earlier, to tap into the different brain waves, to get into a meditative state, and even to connect with the spirits or our spirituality. So there's many applications, and based on what we want to accomplish, we utilize the breath differently, right? So what we just did is normal breathing. Now, if you're highly strung and stressed, which means you're in a sympathetic nervous system, we can do a breathing where we get into the parasympathetic. So now we got to exhale longer than we inhale. And you mentioned box breathing, and there's many types of breathing that you can learn to apply in certain situations, right? So again, that's number 2.
For example, somebody gets like very stressed because they received like a strong information, whatever. But those times when you feel you're out of your center, because like you even feel that your heart is, what breath work would you suggest for somebody that is stressed or has a bad moment?
Well, unlike Travis, I'm not a breathwork master. So again, download the app, learn from the best. But in order to calm down, our exhale needs to be longer. So what I would suggest is, for example, breathe in through the nose for 4 counts and out through the mouth for 6 counts. So you go like this.
Through the mouth.
In through the nose for 4 counts, out through the mouth for 6 counts. That gets us from sympathetic into parasympathetic, from flight and fight, from stress into a recovery and into a calm state.
For what I teach, I'm not a breath master.
Me neither.
I wish I were. But what I teach them is the box breathing, what I think is very interesting, where you inhale through the nose, 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4. You keep it for 1, 2, 3, 4. You exhale it 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't do anything for counts. So it's a double exhalation.
It's in, hold, out, hold, and that's your box: in, hold, out, hold, right? So you keep doing that. So again, yes. So that's one of the hundreds of techniques that are out there. But for your listeners, start with the simple stuff.
So many breath masters. It's like you can really get it on your phone. It's not gonna make you. It's not that expensive, and it has amazing videos. It even has classes. They're light classes. Get on that breath source. It's really good. Travis is doing an amazing job. Y ya va a venir en español. Breath source. Okay. Biohacker. 3rd hack.
Yes. So we got water, we got air. Very basic, but we can start there. Number 3 is rest, right? So we need enough rest. We need to sleep long enough, but more important, we need to get into a deep delta sleep, because that's where we repair, we renew, and we regenerate. I always use the analogy of a supermarket. If the people at night don't restock the shelves, the next day we're in trouble. It's the same with our body. We need to be able to recoup, to regenerate, to renew, right? And that only happens in a deep delta sleep. So we need to sleep long enough, but more importantly, deep delta sleep quality, where the body can regenerate. So we need to learn how to do that. That means, these are just a few tips. We cannot eat or consume food 4 or 5 hours before we go to sleep. So you need to have early dinner, so your digestion can finish before you go to bed, because when you're trying to sleep but your body's still working in digestion, you're not going to get into a deep sleep. Number one. Number two, you need to create a power routine, an evening power routine where at least 1 hour, ideally a little bit longer, before you go to bed, you don't do any work anymore, you don't have any stimulation anymore, you turn the TV off, no stimulation from that, you just relax. And you do a routine like visualization, breath work, you know, reading something. The brain needs to, the brain needs to shut down, calm down, so you can get into that deep sleep. When you just watch TV or a horror movie, it's not gonna happen, right? So you need an evening routine. You need to avoid, eating and or drinking a lot a few hours before you go to bed. And you need to figure out, if you don't get into a deep sleep, why that is. Are you constantly worrying about tomorrow? Is there something else? And then figure out how to fix that, whether that's with a natural sleep aid, a nootropic, or whether that's with brain tap or visualization. We need to find a way to get you a deep rest, deep sleep, because that's where the body repairs, regenerates, renews. So you wake up full of energy and vital versus, oh my God, I'm still tired. We can't have that. So that's number three, rest and sleep. Number four is the opposite, movement. Because when we talked about number one, water, we said we were a plumbing system, circulatory system, lymphatic system. Yes, we need to hydrate, but we need to move. We need to avoid stagnation, right? So if you go to the gym once a day for an hour, that's great. But if you're sitting on your chair because you're an insurance agent or whatever it is that you do for the rest of the day, that's not good. Movement does not mean we have to go to the gym or play organized sports. We can, but we constantly need to move. We need to walk. We need to go outside, play with the kids, with the dogs, whatever it is, taking dancing lessons. We need to be active so things don't clog up or stagnate. That's important. If you can't move, there's things that you can buy like vibration platforms, mini trampolines, etc. But we constantly need to move. We can't sit down. So that's number four. Number five is light. Sunlight promotes all biological and physiological, including nutritional processes in the body. Think about the Amazon and think about the animals in the tropical rainforest around the equator. They're huge, they're vibrant, they're colorful, they're full of life, versus those that live in the dark like a mole. They're even blind. So light stimulates life, okay? So we need to take the time to go outside during lunch, in the morning before work, in the evening, weekends. We need to go outside. We get fresh air, we can be grounding, and we get the sunlight. So sunlight is essential. Now, if for some reason at certain times of the year, or you live in Norway or somewhere else where it's dark during the winter, there's obviously artificial light, far infrared, near infrared, photomodulation and those type of technologies. But the best light is still the light from Mother Nature. Number six, we need to go ahead. Yes.
Like how many, like right now, you have no clue how beautiful the sunlight is. And we had a really bad hurricane in Acapulco. It was awful, really sad. But today the sun is like beautiful. Like how many minutes out in the sun do you need to use a protection? Because I don't want people to understand that we're inviting them to be under the super sun at 12 o'clock, 45 minutes this side and 45 minutes the other side.
It's a great question, Dr. Lizi, because we need to distinguish between light and heat. Heat will exhaust us. Light is beneficial. Heat is detrimental. So look at animals in the wild. They never are out in the middle of the day in the heat. They're out in the morning and in the evening. That's where they're hunting. For the rest of the day, they're hiding in the shadow. So we don't go out in the heat. We need the sunlight, not the heat. The more light, the better, but we need to avoid the heat.
Another question, talking about light. Is it that important, like for night people like me, to go to bed literally from 10 to 2 is like the time when your body is gonna, or are there bodies that need to sleep earlier and some bodies that need to sleep later?
Our bodies are out of whack. They are not in tune with Mother Earth anymore because our perversions, our indulgences. Again, we're humans, and just like animals in the wild, we should go to bed when the sun goes down and we should wake up when the sun rises. That's a healthy biorhythm. Now, with our work and our jobs, based on where we work, that not always can be practical, right? Because it changes. But what we need to do to that extent is we need to get into a rhythm. We need to get into a habit where we get 7 to 8 hours of sleep and that we are rested, that we get into that deep sleep. But the idea is if you go sleep at 11 p.m. and you sleep till 7 a.m., that's good. That's 8 hours. If that works for you, great. You just got to get into a habit and try to stay consistent. Going to bed at 9:30 p.m. one day and then midnight the other day, that's going to throw off your system.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, not hard for everybody. There's people that, I'm definitely a night person. For me, falling asleep at 12 is like, wow, I made it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you gotta work on a routine that where you fall asleep much quicker into a deep sleep.
Well, I'm brain tapping, and I'm part of the voices in Spanish, which is so
congratulations. That's good.
Very important for Spanish because we have a huge community that's waiting like crazy to hear. And I just sent in talking about reprogramming your brain, because what we're talking about is that we need to learn how to reprogram our brain. And it's like, stop repeating those 7 first years of your life and just walking like if you were a hamster in a ball and not advancing. So yeah, breath work, brain tap, reprogramming sessions that I manage brain tap in English and Spanish. And for sleep, really, because there's people that prefer to fall asleep and stay like many hours hearing something. It gives me anxiety if it lasts 20 minutes, because sometimes I'm not going to fall asleep in 20 minutes. It's really interesting. So it gets scarier. So light and sleep are important. And like committing to what it should be is going to bed when the sun goes down, and it's hard, but sticking to it is something important, right?
That would be ideal. Yeah, that would be ideal, but not practical. But what I
like, how many minutes out in the sun a day? Like, it's not like true, but like you did. I have a garden, a beautiful garden, and it's sunny, and I say, oh, I need like my sun bath. How many minutes should I be out there?
No, the longer the better. But again.
Really?
Yes, sunlight, not heat. You don't want to be baking and getting exhausted and sweating and getting burnt. There's nothing healthy about the heat of the sun. Yeah. Sunlight is what we need, not the heat.
What part of Florida are you?
Right now, the Space Coast, so the Melbourne, Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach area, where the rockets go up in the sky.
Oh, wow. And like my sister lives in Destin, I told you, right?
Yes, that's the other side of Florida. That's the Panhandle.
Oh, so you're in
I'm the East Coast. I'm like 3 hours north of Miami.
Oh, okay, perfect. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, I'm asking you this question because Mexico City is a pretty crowded city, as you might have known. 20-something million in the city. So anyways, it's important to, like, families, no, introduce a habit of at least in the weekends, like try to go and do something outside, right?
Yeah, or even dinner. If it doesn't rain, go sit outside, spend time outside, in the sunlight and the fresh air.
Cool.
So yeah, that was, and then we got only 2 left, but the last one we all discussed. So number 6 is we need to upgrade our diet, our nutrition, right? And we can make it simple because really there's only one cause of all disease, and it's toxemia. Toxemia literally means toxins in the blood, right? But in more detail, what it means that on a daily basis, just from living and our metabolism, we obviously produce waste, we produce toxins. And in a normal, healthy organism, those toxins are eliminated by the kidney, the bowels, the skin, etc. So no harm is done. However, when we are exposed to and take in more toxins than the body possibly can eliminate, then those toxins accumulate in our blood and our body. And that's what we call toxemia. Now, toxemia does two things in our body. Number one, these toxins steal an electron from a healthy atom, which then becomes a free radical. We all heard about free radicals and oxidative stress, right? So that's the first thing it does. Number two, when these toxins are floating around and we can't keep up with elimination, it creates a state of emergency. And conventional medicine calls that systemic inflammation. And they now say, even conventional medicine now agrees that over 90% of all disease is directly related to the systemic inflammation. So if we want to stay healthy, we need to keep toxemia in check. Theoretically, it's very easy, because what do we need to do? We need to reduce the exposure and intake to toxins. From what? From man-made foods and man-made drinks, from prescription and over-the-counter medication, from toxic household products and cleaning products and beauty products, and from electromagnetic frequencies and radiation. We need to lower that and mitigate that as much as we can, while simultaneously increasing the nutrients that fight free radical damage, systemic inflammation, and repair our DNA. And if we do that, we never will be sick. So we need to upgrade that diet. We need to eat healthier, wholesome organic foods, and include high quality supplements, because today they are the insurance policy for optimal health. So that's number 6. And number 7, we talked about the mindset. We already covered that. The mind is probably the most important, because the mind controls the body, and the mind creates your future.
Yeah.
So those are the 7 foundations that everybody can start working on.
Wow. Can you show us the book again, please?
Sure.
Just send me a picture of that. I want the book, actually. I don't want a picture. I want you to send the book to me.
Yeah, you should have asked one in Miami or in West Palm Beach. But yes, we can get you one.
I want one, of course. And how do you know when a supplement, that's something that sort of scares me a little bit, that's happening here in Mexico. It's really important for us to have available like really good supplements in a price that you can pay for them, right? And like sometimes laboratories can be doing things that can be like cheaper, but they're not good for you.
No,
they're just, but they're selling maybe melatonin, or maybe they're selling, I don't know, magnesium or whatever. But how do we know what's
in my
supplement?
In my first book, I talk about the criteria to select the right supplements, and on my website, your listeners can go to my website later. I have a page that's called About Supplements, and I explain principles and criteria to select the right supplements. It also shows the supplements that I take, because they comply with those criteria, but at the same time, they have a much higher bioavailability. Most supplements only get absorbed up to 10%. The supplements I take get absorbed 87% or higher. These are all supplements that have many studies done. The last study was an epigenetic study that was done on the supplements. And so one of the supplements, this is just an example, reduces inflammation. Think about pain and inflammation, and think about the systemic inflammation we just talked about that is the cause of all disease. This one supplement reduces inflammation by 1,250%. Another supplement increases BDNF by 800%. That's your brain function and your memory and things like that. So I do my due diligence.
What are these supplements called?
You can go on my website and you can find them. I'll give you the website later, but there's 6 foundational supplements that I take. And guess what? They are available in Mexico.
They are available in Mexico? Are you kidding? We need to have a little talk about that.
Yes, because you and I can work together and get it to the people to get the best supplements, because they're high quality, they work. Most supplements that I take, I don't even feel anything because they don't get absorbed, right? And so there's many criteria. I'll give you the link on my website, and people can read over the criteria and look at the research, etc.
And what's your website?
My website is biohackingunlimited.com. So biohackingunlimited.com, and if you go to About Supplements, you can read everything about those criteria about supplements.
Biohackingunlimited.com. Ahí lo tienen, para que entren a su website.
Yes.
Hablando de una cosa súper interesante, de que la mayoría de los suplementos se absorben como el 10%. Entonces yo le preguntaba que qué suplementos sí. Entonces, bueno, pues él, además de tener en su libro, que se llama The Ice of Men, está padrísimo, y que me va a mandar además, está hablando de un tipo de suplementos que es súper bueno porque se observa 85%. Entonces, esas son las pequeñas cosas, como que lo barato no es lo bueno. Es realmente, si te vas a tomar algo, cómprate algo bueno, que no tiene que ser carísimo, pero tiene que ser muy bueno para que te sirva y no gastes el dinero a lo menso. Eso es un poquito como lo que estamos hablando, de que es bien importante la calidad de los suplementos que te estés tomando. Como esto que hablaba de él, de las cosas que tenemos que reducir, que nos están pues robando la energía y el ki, y los alimentos que nos ayudan a, pues precisamente los que no están procesados, a tener vidas muchísimo más sanas. Y la mente, que en eso nos quedamos como el séptimo hack para vivir hasta los 100, como si tuvieras 40. Yeah, mind is powerful. I am so happy that today there's so many techniques like brain tap that can help people, because not everybody is like built. I mean, I started meditating many years ago, but as a crisis meditator. I was like a cool crisis meditator. Crisis, meditation, and then I forgot about meditating. Until you make it a habit. For me, not meditating one day is like not washing my teeth. It feels awful, not being with shoes, walking in the street. But it has many benefits, but I know it's hard for people. I work a lot with leaders. And one of the things they always say is, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. And when they try to put their priorities in order, obviously they put their family first. And then it's like, you gotta go one back. You gotta put yourself first. You're not gonna even be available for the workspace as you should be. And you're not gonna be available either for your family. But BrainTap is amazing because of the binaural beats and the lights, the blue and red infrareds, plus the suggestion, plus the reprogramming, plus the music. I mean, it just helps people that it's hard for them to control. Because yesterday I did a show with a lady in Colombia. It's called Olga Viches. She's amazing. And we were talking about how to stop that. In Spanish, I call La Loca de la Casa, the crazy one up here, the one that talks when you don't want it to talk. And we were talking about these techniques also. Yes, and I love what you're doing. So tell us, when are you coming to Mexico to give your seminar? I would love to hear it.
Well, if I can do it in English, I can do it soon. In Spanish, I would have to learn the language first.
I think you can do it in English. There for sure could be translation. I would love it. I would love that.
Well, let's do it.
Where people follow you, Dr. Mike?
Well, the best place to start is my website, biohackingunlimited.com. My books are there. You can sign up for my free newsletter. My mentorship programs are there. My speaking bio is there. So everything starts at my website, biohackingunlimited.com.
Awesome. Well, let me tell you, it was a pleasure talking to you. Very grateful that you're here, that the people in Mexico are starting to know you more, and that there's a lot that we can definitely do to get more health everywhere, mental, physical, spiritual.
Correct. So, well, thank you, Lizi, because this is teamwork to get the message out and help more people. So thank you for your time also.
Thank you. And have an amazing afternoon and enjoy Florida for both of us.
I will.
Take care.
Take care.
And thank you. Y muchísimas gracias a ustedes. Pues ya vieron, entren a biohackingunlimited.com para que puedan conocer más acerca del trabajo de Dr. Mike, conocido como Superman, que la verdad es increíble cómo en tan poquito tiempo nos haya dado 7 hacks súper importantes que no cuestan ninguna fortuna, sino que es como, ¿qué se ha comprobado hasta ahorita que verdaderamente te ayuda a vivir más años, pero mejor? No es vivirlos como en calidad de medio muerto. Y bueno, además es un gran speaker y es un hombre que está haciendo mucho por transformar y ayudar a otros a encontrar su superpoder, igual que yo. Así que les deseo a todos ustedes que pasen muy buena tarde, síganme en mis redes sociales y bueno, pues denle like y compartan este programa. Thank you, Dr. Mike. Bye, Superman. Y ustedes todos a descubrir su superpoder, ¿eh? Chao.